Carol Marine and new scrutiny of the Cook County courts. Carol.
Bill, thank you. Two recent and unusual items have caught the eye of many in Cook County. One, a judge accused by federal prosecutors of mortgage fraud. The other, a judge resigning after refusing his assignment to traffic court. Even for those unfamiliar with the ins and outs of the court system, both stories raise questions about a judge's ethical responsibilities and about the quality of the county judiciary. Joining us to discuss those cases and the broader issues they bring up are retired one-time presiding judge of the Circuit Court's County Division, Edmund Ponce de Leon. Samuel Jones, a professor at John Marshall Law School who studies judicial ethics. And Mark Karlinski, editor of the Chicago Law Bulletin. We also invited Chief Judge of the Circuit Court of Cook County, Timothy Evans, who was unavailable. In a statement, though, Judge Evans says this: "I firmly believe that the vast majority of our judges do good work in and out of the courtroom. Whenever allegations arise about improper conduct by a judge, I meet with the court's executive committee to decide what action is appropriate. While we have no authority to discipline a judge or remove a judge from office, we can assign a judge to administrative duties while legal or ethical matters are pending. We can also refer matters to the Judicial Inquiry Board, the state agency that prosecutes judicial misconduct." Mark Karlinski, what's been the reaction to these two cases?
I think we've seen a bigger reaction, although not a huge reaction to either one within our readership of lawyers and judges, to Judge O'Brien's news. And that's primarily because she was a more...
Judge O'Brien was the one who was federally indicted.
Right, Judge Jessica O'Brien was indicted earlier, I guess it was in April last month, on allegations of mortgage fraud and bank fraud. And she has been, in the legal community, considered somewhat of a rising star. She was...
Star-washed it. Professor, what's your reaction to these two cases?
I was very surprised, like a lot of citizens, and I think it's a good thing that we've been surprised, because that is the indication that we actually have a lot of confidence in our judiciary. If these things were pretty prevalent, if there was a pattern of misconduct, these would not surprise us. We would actually be desensitized to these kinds of issues. But the fact that so many of us are surprised by this, so the fact that so many of us are alarmed and it's getting so much publicity, is an indication that we expect our judges to behave in a very professional manner and uphold the Illinois Code of Judicial Conduct. It's so important to look at these matters in context. We have over 400 judges in Cook County, about 900 judges in Illinois, and these incidents represent less than 1% of these two judges represent less than 1% of the total number of judges in Illinois and in Cook County. When you consider that we have 13 courthouses, over 1 million criminal and civil cases that these judges are adjudicating every year, right? And we only have these two incidents in the last year, and we have very high retention rates amongst our judges, an indication that public confidence is high. So that's why we're all surprised, because we just don't expect these things in Illinois.
Judge Ponce de Leon, what's your reaction?
I was stunned. I know Judge Jessica O'Brien. I was there still as a judge prior to my retirement. I hadn't been working with her. She wasn't working under me. I was a presiding judge at the time, a supervising judge. She worked for another presiding judge. But from what I heard, she had raving reviews as far as her performance. On the bench, she did well. This conduct, of course, is off the bench. Conduct that occurred prior to her inception as a judge, which are two different kinds of misconduct, and they're covered by the Code of Judicial Conduct.
But isn't it the case that a judge is a judge 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, according to the Judicial Code?
That is correct. In fact, your